Reddit dominates Google results for high competition searches. Let me show you an automation that flags the exact Reddit threads that your brand should be mentioned in, and it also drafts a suggested response for you. All of this takes less than 5 minutes.
Hi, so in this end-to-end workflow, I'm going to show you this AI agent I built that flags all of the Reddit URLs that are ranking in the SERPs for high competition keywords or keywords with high search volume, where there are Reddit discussions that are in the first few pages of the SERP. So that you can then go in and add a response and promote your brand if it's the right time. So this is great because oftentimes Reddit is ranking in the SERPs for high competition keywords, especially more so recently. And these are keywords that maybe you wouldn't be able to rank for traditionally with like a new piece of content because maybe your domain rating is just not able to compete with what's currently listed. But if you get your brand listed in that Reddit discussion, you're essentially getting visibility in that SERP. And people usually trust Reddit discussions more anyway. So I will quickly walk you through this workflow, but that being said, I can share the template with you, and you don't need to build this yourself. You just need to go in and update a few details to match what you're looking for and obviously to connect your own tool APIs. But this whole process, once you click execute workflow, runs through the entire thing in 5 minutes and saves you a whole bunch of manual effort and time. And it costs like a couple of pennies to run. So I'll just show you how it works, and then you can let me know if you have any questions, and I can also send over the template. So this works by a manual trigger, which means that you have to click a button, execute workflow, for it to run through the whole process. And then what I did here in download keywords CSV is I downloaded a file from Semrush. I believe you can also use Ahrefs. And then I took all my target keywords and then I filtered for the ones that feature Reddit in the SERPs. And how I did that in Semrush was they have a filter for discussions and forums, which most of the time happens to be Reddit. So look for that kind of filter in your keyword research tool of choice, and then download that as a CSV and upload it to Google Drive. And in this step, this is pretty much the only manual thing you'll have to do during the whole process, is you'll replace this URL here with your own spreadsheet link. You do have to connect your own Google Drive account, but that's just a one-time thing in N8N. After that, you can, it'll always be connected for your workflows. All right, so the next step here is it reads that CSV file, and then it pulls out all of the data and kind of pulls out all the information you need per item. So we have 198 keywords here, so it's done that for each one. And then I've added a loop over node here, which if you don't know in N8N, just means that it runs through the process one at a time. So as you saw here, we have almost 200 keywords, and if we did that all at once, the system would probably crash. So in order to prevent that from happening, I've added a loop over keywords node, which means that it'll take one keyword from this list, go through this entire process, and once that's done, it'll go back and pull the next keyword until it's done. So this still doesn't take very much time to do at all, just a matter of minutes, but it does prevent the system from overloading. So it's pretty necessary. All right, the next step here is I'm using a tool called SerpApi, and this is a Google scraper tool, which has a pretty decent free plan, but it is very good for just scraping Google SERP, and it pulls all of the information about your keyword, and you can also list the location that you want there. So this pulls the keyword from the previous step automatically, so you don't have to do anything here. It'll do it on its own, and it pulls everything that's currently in the SERP. So now the next step is we have to find that Reddit URL that's in the SERP. So here I've added a code node, and I don't know how to code, so I got ChatGPT to help me out with some trial and error back and forth, but it finally created some good code that will pull the Reddit URL from the SERP here, and it'll tell me where it's ranking right now in the SERP, the subreddit, the title, and the keyword associated with that, and the URL, which is what we need for the next step, which is a switch node here. So sometimes the spreadsheet is outdated, or for some reason couldn't find Reddit in the SERP. So it will tell me, this one will say if the Reddit is found, this one here. If Reddit is found, it'll move on to the next step. But if it's not found, then it'll go back to that loop node and just pull the next keyword in the list. So, let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's here. So Reddit found true. So that means that it's moving on to the next step over here. And actually, it's a good point right here. I need to just connect that to there so that if it isn't found, it goes back to the loop over keywords. Okay, so that's sorted. So if it is found, it moves on to this step. And I'm using a tool called Apify, which is a marketplace of scrapers. And I've chosen a Reddit post scraper, which has a subscription fee, very low month to month, but you obviously don't need to run this process very often. Once you do have the spreadsheet ready, it should last you at least the month or the quarter, so you only have to use it once. And I think the Apify scraper has a free trial anyway. But this will take the Reddit URL from the previous step that it found, and it will scrape it and actually find all of the post content, all of the comments, and all the information around that specific Reddit discussion, which is something that we need for the next step. So this does take, I'd say, about a minute to run. This is one of the more lengthy nodes as far as runtime. Oh, that wasn't too long at all. All right, so we're ready for the next step here. And this is the Analyze Reddit post. So this is a ChatGPT node. So I've added a custom prompt here. So you will need to update this for your brand. I'm including Monarch Money as my example here. I don't work with them. I just really love the app. So I thought I would include them as the example, the guinea pig to show this process. But you can keep the prompt as is, just update your brand name here, and it will analyze the previous Reddit post and all the top comments. Well, I've selected 3 just to keep it relatively minimal, and then it will create a suggested response. If you were to go in and add your input to that Reddit thread, what to respond. And it also has context about your brand, which you will need to update here. What you can do really quickly is just copy paste this into ChatGPT, give them your brand name and just say, can you write a new context profile for my own brand? And then just replace it in this section here. So this tends to take a little bit of time too. We'll see if we're lucky here. But this is the step that actually creates that suggested response for you. So I have to wait and see. All right. We'll just move on to here because it might take a little while. So this step is another code node here, and this just simply preps the data of the ChatGPT data from the previous step and kind of makes it so that we can add it to our spreadsheet. So again, I don't code, so I just asked ChatGPT how to make this output, clean it up so that it is ready to be added to a Google Sheet in the next step. All right, and then our final step here is to save to Google Sheets. So I've created a Google Sheet, which I can give you the template for that as well, but basically it grabs all the information that this agent has pulled for you, including the suggested response, and then it'll add it to this spreadsheet here, or whatever one you connect, obviously, to your own workflow. So what you see here is you get the keyword, you get the Reddit URL, the Reddit ranking right now in the SERP, the post summary, and your suggested response, which is, I'd say, pretty decent. It's 90% of the way there. You can add a step where it posts for you on Reddit, but I do like to do a human review step here because I do like to edit them a little bit for sure. And some of the posts you'll find aren't really relevant to your business, so you want to edit that. All right, that's how it works. Let me know if you have any questions.